guys. Welcome. Today, we have an amazing guest. Mr. Giles Blunt. Yes, you heard it here first. The incredible author and poet, screenwriter. He's done many things and continues to awe us with his incredible writing. He has an incredible new novel coming out. The name of it is Bad Juliet. It sounds incredible. You got to stay tuned, though, because he explains, he kind of gives us a little synopsis, but that's in the show. So you got to hang out, hear what it's about. I'm going to be getting a copy for sure, because it sounds right down my alley. I'm just going to say there's Broadway in it, there's some theater in it, a little vaudeville, you know what I'm saying, a little soft shoe. I got to read it. I also loved his Cardinal series. I did, because it was very dark. I like me some crime in a novel. I like some bodies. I like some murders, you know. Watch a lot of Dateline. I do. Watch a lot of Dateline. I love it. And I loved his characters. I loved Lise Delhomme. And I thought Karine Vanasse was fantastic in that role. I thought she was cast beautifully when they shot the Cardinal series right here in North Bay. Amazing. All this coming up, guys. But first, let's thank one of our major sponsors, the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's get into it. I'm Lisa Boivin, and this is To North Bay with Love.
Dear North Bay, as a single mom and full-time student, life can feel overwhelming and budgets are always tight. But one thing I never question is how deeply I care about my community. When I began volunteering at the North Bay Regional Health Center, I saw firsthand how much the healthcare system means to people, especially when life takes an unexpected turn. It made me think, what if it was my child, my parent, or my friend that was in need of care? That's when I realized I wanted to do more, to be part of something bigger than myself. I joined the I Give monthly club because even a small monthly gift can have a meaningful impact, helping ensure everyone in our community has access to the care they need right here at home. If you believe in strong, local health care, I hope you'll join me. Sign up at nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125. It's simple and it matters. With gratitude, Kim Cosgrove.
So, Giles, you're coming to us from Toronto.
Yes.
But you were born in Windsor, and then you grew up in North Bay. There is a rumor that perhaps you grew up in the house that is the big white house beside Algonquin High School. Do you have a connection to that house? Mark and
it's
Steve...
It's not there. The house I grew up in isn't there anymore.
Okay.
Where their parking lot on Jane Street is.
Yeah.
That is part of the airspace I used to occupy.
Shoot,
it was actually the fifth house down from the front doors of Algonquin Composite.
Okay.
As it then was.
Because you know the house I'm talking about, right? Like the big white one on the corner.
No, there's some kind of Stalinist historical society that goes around and tears down any building I ever lived in.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. Yes. Okay. Well, that's no fun.
No. Well, there is one house in North Bay that's still standing, and that's a lovely little house on Copeland Street.
See, Copeland is that's my stomping ground. So my mom bought a house in 2005 just down from that big white house where the Deacons live now, right on Copeland Street. And then my ex-hubby and I bought a house across the street, one of the Copeland Five. Yeah, so kind of kitty corner to King George School.
Are they still in prison, the Copeland Five?
The Copeland Five, yeah, they were caught. They're going down. They're the
I
lifers.
hope they threw the book at them.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, speaking of books, okay, why do you write?
Who knows? I don't know. I think it starts out with a very innocent explanation. You're a little kid. You're thrilled by the books you've been reading, starting from the ones that were read to you, and then, in my case, the works of Enid Blyton, British novelist for children, now much out of favor because of certain word choices that are not acceptable anymore. But they were good adventure stories. Leaving that aside, and then the Hardy Boys, of course, and then you want to create something similar and give people the pleasure that you've had. So it's kind of an innocent starting out, but then later on, when I was a teenager, I think it's very much ego-driven. You see that the praise that great writers are getting, you think, I wouldn't mind some of that. Or I remember a classmate of mine reading a poem by Dylan Thomas and saying, I can write better poems than that. Now, I'm sure he could not, but it amazed me that somebody would think they could do that. And that was one of the things that started me writing poetry. I didn't write better than Dylan Thomas either.
When I Googled you and was kind of creeping you there online, I did not know. Of course, I knew that you were an author, and I loved the John Cardinal books. I love them because they were so dark. I love dark. I love me a crime novel. I love me some murder, some bodies. I like that kind of stuff. I love it, and I thought they were great. But I did not know that you also wrote poetry.
Yeah. Well, most people didn't. I don't think I mentioned it until I published the small volume of poems in, I think it was 2016, with Exile Press. They did a nice job of bringing it out, and the book has just gone into its second printing, I believe. So that's nice. It doesn't happen often with poetry.
And like, where do you get your kind of inspiration for? Like, is your process, I guess, for writing poetry the same as it would be for a novel, for a story? Like, where do they? I don't know.
Not in my case. I'm in awe of people that can do both, or in the case of Margaret Atwood, do everything literary. For me, it's a totally different mindset, and they're just totally different processes. And for decades now, I've been primarily in storytelling mode and story fielding mode, waiting for ideas that seem like they could be worked into a compelling story. Whereas poetry is more about capturing emotions on the fly. I think it's a very different thing.
And I wonder, we were lucky here in North Bay to have Cardinal, the series, be shot here.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And I wonder if you liked the casting of Billy Campbell. And did you?
I loved it. I was absolutely delighted with both Billy and Corinne Vanasse, and also Glenn Gould as Jerry Cardinal. They were just great. I could not have been happier with the casting, and I was also extremely happy with the guy who directed most of the episodes and certainly directed the pilot, Daniel Grew. He just captured the near north very, very well. Not just the prettiness, because in a way, I don't think of the near north as pretty. It's beautiful, but it's not necessarily pretty, which is a different thing. And he allowed the show to capture the sort of I don't want to say darker, but the more downbeat aspects of the near north. It's taken a beating in terms of the economy over the past 30, 40 years. North Bay, as you know, it had two huge industries. It had 3,000 or so personnel with the Air Force at one time, and it had 3 railroads, now reduced to 1, and the Air Force long gone, except for maybe 24 people. And that was a huge loss, and it made a difference to the town. And consequently, you get a kind of, a main street that people are always hoping will come back to be lively the way it was. But people keep saying, no, it's too cold. We want to go to the mall.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I mean, the last few winters, it hasn't been, which is too bad. I mean, I grew up in 4 hours north from here in Timmins, and awesome place to grow up. Like, it's not. I haven't been back since 2015, when my dad passed away, and but people who are still living there now. I work at the hospital, and so when people are coming in to have procedures or stuff, we're just chatting, and I see that they're from Timmins. I always ask them, how is it? And people who've grown up there immediately say, no, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. They just say it's, and Timmins was kind of always like that, a boom and bust, right? I mean, if the mines were doing well, huge, right? When they weren't, it was kind of a ghost town. But definitely, certainly since the 80s and 90s, it's changed incredibly, which is too bad because it was a rockin' town to grow up in. It was pretty amazing. It was
yeah. Well, maybe Mark Carney is going to bring back that resource economy to a large degree. He says he is.
Well, yeah, let's go, Mark. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I loved, because it's always when you read a book and you really love a book, and I wonder how this was for you, because you did write for the the Cardinal series. Are you really nervous when it comes to casting?
I was nothing other than delighted when it came to casting with this show. I didn't actively write any episodes that you saw. I wrote the pilot that got the deal, that got the thing off the ground, and the books obviously. But after that, I had nothing at all to do with the writing. So the casting and everything, as I say, that was just a wonderful surprise.
Yeah, and because that's the thing. Like I'm sure when you're immersed in these stories, like you say, the art of storytelling, and really developing these characters, and there's something so important and interesting to capture a character, but also make this character a real person. And I'm an actor myself, and so when I'm reading a script or a play, you can tell if that character is really well-rounded and is somebody that could really potentially, because do they have flaws? Do they have, embarrassing things in their life? Do they have, because that's what humans are. And so I would imagine, after spending so many hours on the computer, or I don't know if you still typewrite about it, or just, however you're writing, and then to kind of have this option of having them now be these people on a screen. You want to get the right fit. And I agree. I mean, I think, especially Karen, I thought she did Lise Dawn, she was perfect for that character. So, yeah, that's awesome. Hey, you also wrote for Law & Order?
I wrote half an episode of Law & Order. I split it with one of the story editors there, a really brilliant and lovely man who he was excellent for that show. He was a great fit for that show because he used to cover the Supreme Court for NPR down there. So the really nice little points of law that come up in the second half of that show, he could nail them.
Yeah.
And if he couldn't, he could phone somebody who could. So that was great, and he was just great to work with. It was a total collaboration. I mean, we literally took turns at the keyboard. So I'm going to type for a while.
Yeah, how would you do that? How is that even? I mean, because are you battling?
It's easy. That's. I mean, there's a reason why so many writers stay in television, even though in 99% of the cases you don't get the glory of being the sole author of something, unless you're David Kelly or Aaron Sorkin or somebody like that. Most writers don't. And I've asked them, I've met a lot of them in my time, why do you do TV? Because I can't stand it. But I asked them, why do you do it? Why do you keep doing it? And they say, I just really love being in the room and tossing out ideas and making people laugh. And it's a communal project. It's in terms of acting, it's like being in a play. It's you have this community spirit of building something together, which is very pleasant, and it's even more pleasant when the original concept of the show isn't yours. You're just there to help. You're just there to give it your best shot. And so you can feel like you're helping. Whereas if it's yours and other people are chipping away at it, you can feel like, we're not making this work. We're not making this better, So my favorite, that was my favorite experience in TV, with maybe the single exception of being story consultant on Republic of Doyle for 1 week, because I had absolutely no skin in that game, and they were great people to work with. They were really funny, and being in that story room was a blast for a week, and I got to have the best fish and chips of my life.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, no kidding. Do you know when you're writing or after you've written, even a chapter, like, do you know that it's good, Giles? Or that it's not good? I guess in the opposite way.
I think I know when I'm done with it. The sense, I think I know when it's getting better as opposed to getting worse or not moving at all. No, sometimes not. It doesn't happen a lot because you're always looking for problems to fix. But yeah, sometimes you finish a scene and you think, yeah, that should work. People should like that. Or in the case of the Cardinal stories, I think of some nasty twist or something, and I think this will get them.
Yeah.
But that's true. That's a true feeling too for non-crime books like Bad Juliet. Not this will get them in the sense of scare them, but this will get the emotional reaction that you're hoping it'll get. Sometimes you do have a strong sense that it will, and sometimes you have no idea if it will or not.
North Bay's turning 100, and what a time to be here. From the buzz of the Heritage Parade to sunset concerts at the waterfront, the city is alive with celebration. And you know who's right in the middle of it all? Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. We're proud to be a part of this milestone moment. Whether you're coming home from a family reunion, planning a gathering with friends, or just simply making the most of everything the Centennial has to offer, our doors are open. Stay in a spacious suite that feels like home, with a full kitchen to cook in, room to relax, and a space to unwind after a full day of fun. Are you hosting something bigger? Our event spaces and amazing local partners like the Grand and Stock Transportation make it easy to bring people together. Best of all, they're just steps from the action. The fireworks, the food trucks, the music, the laughter, it's all right here. Celebrate 100 years of North Bay with us. Use code Centennial to save on your stay anytime this year. Be at home with Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. Join the party today at 495 Oak Street West or give us a call at 705-495-3000.
It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street and let us help you along your way.
So tell us about, because Bad Juliet is your newest novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell us about it a bit.
Well, it tells the story of a young poet, novelist, professor who has just been jilted and has just managed to lose a very good job he had at Columbia University. And this is 100 years ago in New York. And he gets an offer to work as a tutor to the patients in a tuberculosis sanatorium 300 miles north at Saranac Lake in upstate New York in the Adirondack Mountains. It's gorgeous and beautiful at the same time, magnificent and scary. And of course, moving up into the neighborhood of a highly infectious disease is very scary. So that's the beginning of the book. And while there, he meets a rather melancholy female patient who has survived the sinking of the Lusitania, which was sunk by a German U-boat in May of 1915. He's there in 1916, and she is one of the first patients that he tutors in English literature, which was a new field at the time in academia. That's one of the reasons he was upset and lost his job. There was a lot of competition for the new jobs, and sometimes they went to classics dons rather than people who had actually studied English literature per se. But he also meets another guy, a wonderful, lively character named Jasper Keene, who is a hot playwright. He's had 2 smash hits on Broadway, and one of the interesting fascinating things about Saranac Lake was it had a lot of entertainers there, famous people, because William Morris, the agent and impresario, actually built a hospital specifically for entertainers, a lot of his clients and people who had worked for him. And so it was full of vaudevillians and clowns and magic show people and all kinds of creative people. And as a result, Saranac Lake itself became Broadway North. And they had a very lively theater scene there and other arts and entertainment things. And this was before Hollywood really took off. Films were still mostly shot on the East Coast, and Saranac Lake, because of its climate, was used for the so-called Yukon serials, which often included a lot of not very convincing-looking Mounties, like Perils of Pauline and things like that. They were shot in Saranac Lake, so there were film people around too. So it was just a setting and a milieu that I couldn't resist. Anyway, it becomes a love triangle, and there's competition for this young woman's heart, and I hope that it illuminates a few things about the characters along the way.
It sounds right up my alley. I mean, I'm going to get my hands on this with all the theater and the vaudevilles and the vaudevillians.
Yeah.
When is it available? When will it be?
August 5th in Canada. It's already, the Chapters Indigo apparently couldn't wait, and they've already got it on the shelves of a few of the stores. And you can still pre-order it for quite a discount online. From Chapters. But yeah, August 5th is the date. I have a launch here in Toronto the day after, on August 6th.
And then you're coming to North Bay? No.
Yes, I think it's on the 14th or 15th. Yeah, I'm doing a thing at the library, reading and Q&A and signing.
Oh,
I did one
wonderful.
Quite a long time ago now. I can't remember when it was. It was minimum of 10 years, probably more like 12 or 13 years, and it was a lot of fun to do.
Oh man, well, you have tons of fans here, so I'm sure it will be a very busy day or evening for you, for sure.
Yeah, they make them read it in high school, so it's great. It's great for me.
You're like, read this.
Yeah.
I mean, so that setting, I mean, talk about so different from the Cardinal series or even just other of places that you've written about in your other novels. And I mean, how much research and preparation do you do before you even kind of start writing something like that, I would imagine?
I always hope to come up with an idea that I want to write that doesn't require a lot of research. This one happened to, but require isn't the right word, because the reading about this stuff was just so fascinating for me. And I knew the town anyway. We'd been visiting it before. And then after I came upon the first book about the history of the place, I got totally into it. Because the fascinating thing about that town is that the sanitarium, it was just basically a crossroads until the sanitarium was founded in the 1880s, late 1880s, by a doctor, a wealthy doctor who was sick with tuberculosis himself. And it was a philanthropic project. It was intended to treat people who couldn't afford treatment otherwise or elsewhere. And it was also a research place. And it became world famous. People came from all over to go to this place. Robert Louis Stevenson was one of their more famous clients, and Somerset Maugham and Norman Bethune, and very well-known people were there. But as a result of the success of the sanitarium, they had to turn away hundreds of people every year, and thousands of people over the years. And as a result, the local residents thought, well, we can help with this. And it's quite an amazing bout of entrepreneurship of private citizens. They had bigger rooms. They had rooms, adjusted so that they could accommodate patients. And most importantly, they had porches, glassed-in porches built onto their houses. And there's about 100 of them still standing with those odd big porches. Some of them wrap around 3 sides, and some of them are just small. But these people, under the supervision of 3 different health agencies, became sort of nursing homes, but what they called them was cure cottages. And some of them were just for patients who were up and around and, could go out and do a lot of normal stuff. And there were others that I think they called nursing cottages, where they took in people who were bedridden. And it became that built the town for the next 70 years, until the 50s when tuberculosis was all but wiped out by the discovery of streptomycin and other drugs.
Wow, that is, because it's fascinating when you think of that period of time kind of really shaping that area, and not only in architecture, but yeah.
And I thought, it's like what you look for in a novel, at least I do, is a setting and milieu that can easily, or seems obvious to me, could be a great crucible for revealing character and exploring character. And this, with all the varied people that came, and the gung-ho-ness of the local residents, and the expertise of the doctors and researchers, and the surrounding mountains, and the cranky old guides who took people into the woods to shoot moose and so on. I just couldn't resist that.
So what do you read when you're not writing?
I'm a very haphazard reader. Lately, I've been reading. Just recently, I finished Susan Swan's new book, "Big Girls Don't Cry." It's nonfiction, a memoir, and I thought it was great. It's very interesting to read the thoughts and memories of a second wave feminist who's looking around at the state of the treatment of women today, and as it was. She's very tall, and so it starts from what it's like to feel like an outsider as a woman, and to feel different and that you don't fit in addition to being a woman. And I think it's terrific. If I had a daughter or a granddaughter, I'd certainly hand it to them and say, "You might enjoy this."
Yeah. So,
but I do. Yeah. I guess I mostly read nonfiction. Although I recently read Solzhenitsyn for the first time. I read A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, which was
who is?
racing.
I don't know who that is.
A Russian dissident who was imprisoned in the Gulag system for years and wrote the Gulag Archipelago, 3-volume work about the history of and the experience of being in the Gulag of prison, of the Soviet prison system.
Shoot. My mom read one that was, now I'm going to forget the name of it, of course, because we're talking about it now. But anyways, they did do a series of it. And it was a man, Ewan McGregor plays him. And anyways, he is same kind of thing. It's in Russia during the kind of revolution they were having there. Anyways, he answered questions wrongly, and then he was imprisoned in a hotel. And so they said, if you leave the hotel, you will be arrested or shot on sight. And so he ended up living in this hotel his entire life, and couldn't leave. Yeah. Oh, what's the name of it now? This is horrible. Anyway, look it up. He's gonna look it up. Ewan McGregor, my producer's looking it up. Shoot. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, it was incredible. She just loved it. My mom read it, I think, probably about 3 times over. But the
last fiction I read was 3 or 4 months ago. I read 3 books in a row by...
Yep, A Gentleman in Moscow. That's what it's called.
Ah, there you go.
A Gentleman in Moscow. Yeah, I think you would love it, Giles. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she read it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and then we ended up watching. And the series was very well done as well. Ewan McGregor did a really good job. But based on kind of that time, and kind of scary.
More recently, I've been reading Sebastian Faulks, British author, great novelist. great novelist. His best-known book is Birdsong, which is about is set in the First World War, and also Human Traces, which is about the early history of modern psychiatry. Also fascinating. He's great with character, big in scope, writes beautiful prose.
And what do you do when you're not around books? Like if you're not writing, you're not reading, what do you do on the weekend?
Lately I've been doing a lot of ironing.
Okay. That's not what I thought you were going to say. Okay, ironing. Like your own stuff?
I'm surprised the Zen masters haven't gotten onto this because it's a completely relaxing thing.
It is. I do a lot of ironing.
Low cognitive load, which suits me, fine. It's very soothing. And you end up with it's like baking a cake. At the end, you've got a nice shirt or whatever.
Nice product. Yeah. I find that too. That was, I think it's true what they say, that sometimes the best ideas come out of nothing, right? You could just be walking in the forest, or you could be... Oh, yeah,
that's great. It's like driving in a way. Again, it's a low cognitive load. So you're not really focused. You're aware of what you're doing with your hands and so on, but it allows ideas to float in and out of your mind. But more actively, I spend a lot of time playing piano or guitar, and the reason I'm looking is I got a bunch of guitars hanging on the wall over there, and I have a group of guys that I play with regularly, and we have a great time playing classic rock, British invasion stuff, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Did you teach yourself to play?
Mostly, but I've had some good teachers over the years. Yeah. Awesome.
So piano and guitar, like electric or acoustic, or do you have a favorite?
Both. The piano is I was a student of nuns when it came to the piano. So the way they kept the convents going was dragging little kids in there and forcing them to play scales.
I wish I would have kept up with it, Giles, because there's nothing more. I sing, and I would love to be able to hit the little ivory keys there and just, and do a concert, go around at Christmas and sing and accompany myself, and that would be fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get very far with the nuns, but I'm playing with these guys, and we have an excellent guitar player with the result that I play a lot less guitar than I used to, and I, moved over to the keyboard, so I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Which is sometimes, the best way to go. And just like you say, you're just kind of plunking around the keys and all of a sudden some kind of idea comes up, It's great. I do that with painting, cross-stitching, all that. It's the same kind of thing, Concentrating on that, but everything's kind of coming in, going out. And lo and behold, you have an idea. Well, I thank you so much for your time today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And hopefully, I hopefully to see you in North Bay at the library.
Yeah.
And that was August 14th?
I think so, 14th or 15th.
You'll have to check your schedule. You're very busy. Yes. Very popular. Everyone wants a piece of you, especially with this new one coming out. This sounds fantastic, this Bad Juliet. That sounds absolutely intriguing. I'll definitely get my hands on it. And like I said, I've loved the Cardinal series. I also loved By the Time You Read This. That was a good one too. And I just, they're great.
Oh,
they're really
like
fun to
one.
read. And they just, for me, like when I'm reading a book, I love, we talk about character all the time. And I think I can tell within the first 10 pages if I'm going to love a book because the characters have to just catch me, and I'm on the ride with them and I just forget about the day. You just, boom, there you are. You're in their world and you get to go around with them
I think
for a little
most
bit.
people enjoy that, that sensation.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Giles. And hopefully we'll see you soon. All the best with the new novel.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it, guys. It was such an interesting chat with Giles, and I'd just love to hear a little bit about his process and how how his poetry is different from his novels, and just how the creative process is different, and also. We totally agree on the low kind of mental load, right? Of doing those activities, whether it's painting or like rollerblading or just meditating, listening to music and walking. Quite often it's when we're not really focused on what we need to focus on that's when the ideas kind of spark and come out, and they just pop in, or the answer to like the end of a scene or a line you need or something. Anyway, that's what I find when I'm stuck on something or working on something. I usually do that. I'll put on some like EDM and dance it out, or get on my elliptical. That's what I got to do. Hey, you can see Giles here too in North Bay, because he will be coming to do some press for his new novel, Bad Juliet. He's going to be at the North Bay Public Library. I believe it's around August 14th, but we're going to definitely find out that date, and we'll add it to this podcast. Of course, Mr. Blunt's schedule is very, very busy. So he thought it was the 14th, but we'll get that date for you for sure. And you can see him there. Maybe, if you have a copy of Bad Juliet, you can get it signed by he himself. That's it for me. Oh, except I should tell you to go to our website. You should do that, northbayecho.ca. Head over there and you can check out all the other podcasts that are available. You can sign up for our newsletter, Echo Essentials. It'll be sent right to your inbox. You don't even have to worry about it. It's taken care of, my friends. Until then, wear your sunscreen, wear your hat if you have one, and, go enjoy the sun, okay? Sunscreen, hat, get it on, hydrate. It's very soupy out there right now. Might not be by the time this plays, but today it's like 40 degrees. It's 40 degrees, okay, and the sun's hot. It's humid. I gotta go hydrate. I'll see you later. Until next time, much love, North Bay.